Everyone feared the billionaire's fiancée, until a new maid stepped into the mansion. But the moment Emily arrived, strange things began happening. Shadows following her, secrets slipping from locked rooms, and Vivienne's perfect smile cracking like broken glass. When a disastrous night exposes Vivienne's darkest fear, Emily becomes the only person who can save the entire Hale empire. Or destroy it. Because in this mansion, nothing is as it seems, and the maid no one noticed is about to change everything. The wind whipped across the coastline like a living thing, howling through the high cliffs that framed the estate belonging to Alexander Hale, one of America's youngest tech billionaires. His mansion, an architectural marvel built of steel and glass, stood like a jeweled crown against the gray Atlantic sky. It was beautiful. It was intimidating. And according to rumors, it was cursed by the presence of one woman, Vivienne Stone, Alexander's Fiancée, gorgeous, impeccably dressed, dangerously charismatic, and absolutely terrifying. The staff whispered her name, like children whisper about monsters under their beds. She had a gift, a curse, of making people feel small. Her voice, always poised and sugar-coated, carried a sharpness that sliced through confidence like a knife. And her eyes, cold, icy blue, like winter water that could drown you without anyone hearing your scream. No one crossed her. No one spoke back to her. No one dared breathe too loud in her presence. Until the new maid arrived. Emily Dawson, 24, stepped out of the Uber with a suitcase that had only one wheel left. Her coat, thrifted from a donation box, was 2 sizes too big, and her sneakers had lost their shape years ago. She stood at the entrance of the Hale estate, hugging her folder of hiring documents. "Wow," she whispered. The mansion looked unreal, walls of shimmering glass, floating staircases, the kind of place she had only ever seen in magazines while waiting for her shift to start at the diner. This job, this was her lifeline. Her mother's hospital bills were drowning her. Life hadn't offered her much, but she planned to fight for the little she had inside. The head butler, Mr. Graham, greeted her with a stiff nod. "Follow me. Move quietly. Speak softly. And avoid Miss Stone at all costs." Avoid her? Emily blinked. Why? Before he could answer, a cold voice floated down the hall. "Graham." "Who is this?" Emily's heart jumped. There she was, Vivienne Stone, perfection, wrapped in white silk. Her heels clicked like a warning as she approached. Staff members straightened instantly. Even the chef froze mid-step. Emily swallowed hard. Vivienne's gaze swept over her, slow and cruel. "This is the new maid." "Miss Stone," the butler murmured. Vivienne's lips curved into a predatory smile. "Is that so?" She took one step closer, close enough for Emily to smell her expensive perfume. "Do you scare easily, Emily?" Emily's pulse hammered in her ears, but she didn't look away. "No, ma'am. Not easily." A flicker of surprise crossed Vivienne's face. The staff collectively held their breath. Then Vivienne smirked. "Good. Let's see how long that lasts." She walked away like a queen leaving her throne. The house exhaled. "You're brave." Graham whispered. "Or foolish." "I just told the truth," Emily replied. He sighed. "Here. Truth can be dangerous." Emily's days were filled with tasks: polishing floors, dusting glass shelves, carrying fresh linens, organizing closets larger than her entire old apartment. But one evening, while delivering towels to the private gym, she ran into him, Alexander Hale. He stood alone, boxing gloves off, sweat on his brow, punching bag swaying. His black hair was damp, and his usually tailored shirt was replaced by a simple workout tee. Emily froze. Alexander, Hale in person. The man the media adored, the genius app developer, the philanthropist, the billionaire bachelor, soon to be married. His dark eyes lifted. "Oh," he said, surprised. "You must be the new maid." His voice was warm, nothing like Vivienne's icy tone. "Yes, sir." She held up the fresh towels. "These are for me," he finished, smiling slightly. "Thank you." She placed them on the counter and turned to leave, but he spoke again. "How are you adjusting?" She paused. No one, not even the staff, had asked her that. I'm managing. It's all very new." He nodded. "If you ever feel overwhelmed, you can talk to Graham. We try to keep things comfortable for the staff." That surprised her. From everything she'd heard, he wasn't the problem. Vivienne was Dot as Emily left. She could feel the staff's eyes on her, whispering. She spoke to him? And survived? Wait until Vivienne finds out. But even so, she felt something warm flicker inside her. Maybe. Not everything here was as cold as it seemed. 2 weeks later, the mansion buzzed with preparations for the Hale Foundation Charity Gala. Vivienne's favorite event to flaunt her status. Emily was assigned to help set up the ballroom. Vivienne swept in like a storm, inspecting every detail. "These flowers are wilted," she snapped at the florist. "These candles are crooked. This tablecloth? Wrinkled. Completely unacceptable." The florist actually looked like he might cry. Emily stepped forward before she could stop herself. "Ma'am, the flowers look fresh. The stems just need trimming. I can fix them." The staff gasped aloud. Vivienne spun toward her, eyes blazing. "And who," she hissed, "told you to speak?" Emily felt a tremor rise up her spine, but she refused to bow. "No one, Mom. I just saw someone struggling. I wanted to help." Vivienne's nostrils flared. Alexander entered the room. "Vivienne." "Sweetheart," he began, but she cut him off. "Your staff is insubordinate." "Alex." He looked between her and Emily. "What happened?" She spoke out of turn. Vivienne said. Emily opened her mouth, but Alexander lifted his hand gently. "Vivienne. She's helping. That's her job." Vivienne's mask cracked for a split second. Anger burned underneath. Emily stepped back, whispering, "I'm sorry." Vivienne leaned in close enough for only her to hear. "You will be." The gala night arrived. Lights sparkled. Classical music floated through the air. Wealthy guests filled the room with laughter and champagne. Emily worked quietly along the walls, replacing empty glasses, keeping everything spotless. Vivienne moved like royalty, glued to Alexander's side, smiling perfectly for every camera. But behind the smile, something was off. Emily noticed it first. Vivienne's hand trembled. Her eyes seemed more desperate than proud. She clung to Alexander's arm too tightly, like she was afraid he'd disappear. Emily kept her distance until the moment disaster struck. Vivienne stepped aside to greet donors when her heel slipped. She stumbled right into a tall candelabra. The candles toppled. The tablecloth caught fire. Guests screamed. Emily ran without thinking. She grabbed the heavy water pitcher from the nearest table and threw it over the flames. The fire steamed out. Gasps filled the room. Vivienne's humiliation was instant. She had fallen. Her dress was splashed. Her perfection shattered. Alexander rushed to her. "Vivienne, are you okay?" She shoved him away. "This is her fault," she shrieked, pointing at Emily. Emily froze. "What? You pushed me." Vivienne screamed, voice cracking. "She wants to destroy me." Everyone stared at Emily. Even Alexander. Emily shook her head quickly. "Sir, I didn't." But Vivienne burst into sobs, loud, hysterical sobs collapsing into Alexander's arms. "Please, take me home," she sobbed. "I can't stay here." He carried her out. And for the first time, Emily saw something break inside him. The next morning, Emily expected to be fired, but instead, Graham pulled her aside. "Miss Stone is unwell," he whispered. "She suffers from anxiety attacks. She hides them from the media, from everyone." Emily blinked. "She has anxiety? And trauma," Graham added quietly. "Her childhood was difficult." Suddenly, the icy cruelty made a different kind of sense. People who fear losing control often cling to it too tightly. Emily felt something unexpected. Not anger. Not fear. But sympathy. That afternoon, she knocked on Vivienne's private lounge door. Silence. Then, "Come in," a brittle voice said. Vivienne sat on the couch with makeup smudged and tissues everywhere. She looked less like a monster and more like a woman trapped in her own storm. "What do you want?" she rasped. Emily stepped closer. "To ask if you're okay." Vivienne laughed coldly. "Why do you care?" "I've been awful to you." "Because sometimes people aren't awful," Emily said softly. "Sometimes they're hurting." Vivienne stared at her. For the first time, really stared. Tears trembled. "You don't understand," she whispered. "Everyone expects perfection. If I break, everything collapses." "You're allowed to be human," Emily murmured. "Everyone is." Vivienne's mask cracked, and she finally cried, not the dramatic, attention-seeking sobs from last night, but real, exhausted, heartbreaking tears. Emily sat beside her. And for the first time, Vivienne let someone in. Over the next month, everything changed. Not instantly. Not magically. Slowly, like winter turning into spring. Vivienne apologized to the staff. She began attending therapy sessions again. She stopped lashing out. And surprisingly, she began talking to Emily almost every day. Alexander noticed the change and was stunned. One evening, he found Emily in the garden after finishing her tasks. "You've made a difference," he said softly. She flushed. "I didn't do anything special." "Yes, you did," he replied. "Vivienne hasn't let anyone close to her in years. You helped her heal." Emily looked down, touched. "She's trying hard," she said. "She just needed someone to see her differently." Alexander's eyes softened as he looked at Emily, really looked at her. "You're remarkable," he murmured. Emily's breath caught, but before anything else could be said, Vivienne's voice called from the balcony. "Emily, I need your help with something." Emily smiled. "Coming." As she left, Alexander watched her with a heart he thought had long gone numb. One morning, Vivienne approached Emily with a shy expression, something no one had ever seen. "I need your help again," she said. "With something?" "Personal." Emily nodded. "Anything." Vivienne took a deep breath. "It's Alexander," she whispered. I think he's falling for you?" Emily froze. "What?" Vivienne smiled sadly. "He looks at you the way I once wished he'd look at me." Emily felt a pang of guilt. "I don't. I mean, I would never." Vivienne lifted a hand. "No, you don't have to explain. I'm not angry." Her eyes softened. "For the first time, I'm free. I don't want to be someone he settles for out of duty. I want us both to be loved." Emily felt tears prick her eyes. Vivienne touched her hand gently. "You helped me find myself. Let me help you now." 3 months later, Vivienne ended the engagement with grace, peace, and emotional closure. The media spun stories, but the truth stayed between the three of them. Emily continued working at the estate. Alexander continued noticing her every day. And Vivienne? She found her own path, one that didn't require perfection. Only healing. One evening, After the staff had left, Emily stood outside watching the sunset. Alexander joined her. "I owe you everything," he said quietly. "You changed this house. You changed me." Asterisk, she smiled. "I didn't do anything big." Asterisk, yes. He took her hand. "You did. You loved people when they didn't know how to love themselves." Emily's heart warmed. "Emily." His voice was soft, nervous, hopeful. "Would you consider having dinner with me?" Asterisk, she looked into his eyes, warm, gentle, full of a future she never imagined. Asterisk, "I'd like that," she whispered. Asterisk, and as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in gold and pink, Emily finally realized something. Sometimes the greatest difference in the world is made by the person no one notices at first, the maid, the quiet one, the heart in the shadows. Asterisk, and sometimes that heart becomes the light everyone needed.